Welcome to Streaming and Screaming. I'm your host, David B. Cronmiller, and I am not in the studio this week. No, I am not. I'm taking the week off. Taking the week off to spend some time with my family and get some other things done. So we're taking a week off, but we're not going to abandon you. No, we're not going to abandon you. We are not going to leave you without something to watch and something to enjoy, because I'm going to show you some old interviews I've done with some other folks and a nice episode of a show that the guy that we're going to show the interview of produced and created. So I'll get to that in a second. But first, streaming and screaming. What am I streaming? What am I screaming? Last week we ran out of time. By the way, I want to thank Zach White and Becca Flynn for being great sports last week. They were fantastic. A lot of fun playing around with them. Please watch listen to their podcast, The Adventures of Chet Cosmos, The Space Adventures of Chet Cosmos, and go to zachwhite.com. It's Zach-White.com because he had to have a dash in there. I don't know. But Zach and Becca, thank you again. So what's coming up, by the way, on Streaming and Screaming? Since I'm not in the studio this week, I am taking a break. But we have some episodes coming up in the next few weeks. Working on getting a kind of a Halloween-themed episode. Hoping to have Malik Akkad on. He's the producer of the Halloween franchise, as well as he has a feature film. His directorial debut is coming out this week, I think, or next week, called Free Fall. So we're going to talk to him about that. And we're also working on getting America Alivio and Michael B. Silver, who are both in the Friday the 13th franchise at different times, and talk about what it's like to make a scary movie. And both of them have done other sort of frightening things. And we might have a few other surprise guests, too. So we're putting together a Halloween show, so that'll be fun. I'm also working on putting together a Doctor Who themed show. Not so much themed show, but I want to have some guests on and talk about Doctor Who, because I'm excited about, and this is what I'm screaming about this week. This week's screaming is a positive thing. I'm screaming about Peter Capaldi, because I was screaming against them a little bit ago, and I'm sorry. I hate to admit that. I'm a big Whovian, but Peter Capaldi has been really a delight in the last two episodes of Doctor Who. They're in their brand new series, or season. They call it series in England, and he's been fantastic. He's been so good. And what I mean by that is when the series first started with Capaldi, the first two episodes, there was a dinosaur episode, and then one where they go inside of a Dalek. It wasn't that exciting. I mean, there were some good writing. There was some good writing, but I didn't feel like they were actually physically covering Capaldi correctly. In other words, not giving him the type of close-ups and shots that he really deserved. And I felt like they were still trying to find the character and find the rhythm and find the new version of this Doctor. And lo and behold, by the third episode, where they go back in time and talk to a young Pink, that's one of the characters' names, and it was a very spooky episode. It's great. It was a fantastic episode, and I think they finally went back to the form of Doctor Who, and I'm excited because I think they're getting into some origin stories of Doctor Who, which is something I think a lot of us Whovians have been looking forward to for a long, long time. So hats off to Peter Capaldi, and we're very, very, very happy with your Doctor, and we're excited to see what else you're going to do. There's a great clip on my Twitter feed of Capaldi on the Graham Norton show, getting a little embarrassed because he used to be a huge Who fan. So go to @DP Cronmiller on Twitter, and you'll get to see that link and then watch it. Or you can go to BBC America if you want to as well. So I've been screaming about Capaldi because I'm excited about him. It's not a negative thing. It's an exciting thing. What I am upset about, though, are all these windows closing on Netflix. The Battlestar Galactica is coming off for a little while. They're closing that window. They've run out of their licensing window. If you don't know it, the way streaming video works is studios negotiate with someone like Netflix to say, hey, you can have this content for this period of time, and then at a certain point, we're going to take it back, and then you're not going to be able to stream it anymore for a little while, and then we're going to probably bring it back. And they call it an intermittent reinforcement. It's a marketing technique, so I don't like it. I think it has its use, and it's definitely a helpful thing at sometimes, but generally speaking, I think if someone wants to watch something, they should be able to find it and watch it. When they watch it, you should be able to support impulsive viewing behavior. So I'm screaming about the fact that Battlestar Galactica is coming offline, because that means some people are probably not going to get to watch the show, and that's a shame. What I'm streaming right now, of course, all this new fall TV. We got Gotham, we got Marvel Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., which I'm excited about, and I think they're doing a great job in their second season. And their first season started off a little bumpy, but now it's really doing great. And I so much so that I watched their season opener twice. I did. So that's what I'm streaming right now. There's a whole bunch of other stuff, but we'll get into it when we come back in the studio doing live shows. Right now, enjoy this interview I did with Anthony Q. Farrell. He's a very good friend of mine. He's a wonderful man. He directed me in a show called Dwelling. That's how I got to know him. And I've gotten to become very fond of him. He's a great guy, great writer. He worked on The Office, and also he works on the Thundermans right now. This interview you're about to see with him, though, was done before he started working on the Thundermans. I think he had just maybe started working on it, but the show hadn't premiered yet. So enjoy it and go watch the Thundermans. A fun show. You'll hear Anthony's voice all the time. He had just had an episode premiere this past Saturday, so go check that out. And then we're also probably going to play, I think, an episode of Dwelling, just to give you guys an opportunity to see yours truly making a fool of himself with some really funny people and enjoy it. So we'll be back in the next couple of weeks with next week with a live show, with a brand new show, brand new guests, and then we'll hopefully you'll see those Halloween shows and a Doctor Who themed show coming up here in the next few weeks. I'm David B. Cron Miller, your host for Streaming and Screaming. Please check out my other projects at iwenttofilmschool.com. I went to film school, so you don't have to, is my how-to video series on how to make great content, how to make films and make videos and that kind of thing. And also check out our show, of course, And Boris. It would be remiss if I didn't mention that at YouTube / Boris, ANDBORIS. So now, let's enjoy Anthony Q. Farrell.
We're ready to go, ticking like a bomb that's about to blow. It's taking control, pulling at your feet like an undertow. You don't really know if you're all that capable, but you've been told to figure it out. Don't pretend you're stupid, sort it out. Go make yourself useful. You're better than dead. You really made a mess with the words you said. So easily fed, flames of the fire rise above your head. Welcome to Streaming and Screaming!
I like to talk. It's my pleasure.
So you're Anthony Q. Farrell. You're a writer, you're an actor, you're a director, you're a producer. What got you into this crazy business? What made you think I need to do this?
I think, the same thing with a lot of people. I was a fat kid, and I was a fat kid, and as a fat kid, you become real funny real fast. And I grew up in Toronto, so it was I was already amongst a lot of funny people, and to protect myself, I would just lash out at people's mamas. I would tell some mama jokes. I made a kid cry one time. I still feel bad about that, but I mean. I would actually, the thing that I would do with mama jokes, I would not just go in on the people's mamas. I would use actual facts about their moms, because we all went to the same birthday party, so we all knew about everyone's moms. So I would just say mean things like, "Oh, your mom was cross-eyed, and she was really cross-eyed." And people were like, "Oh, she was my cross-eyed mom." I was mean. So that's how I decided. You know what? I'm good at hurting people's feelings. And that's what began my journey into comedy. I went to high school. I stopped being a verbal bully probably after the 7th grade. But then high school, I did plays, I did theater, and then I went to theater school, and then I went to this comedy school in Toronto. And it was this school that was actually at an accredited college, and it was a comedy school. It was run by people who did Second City and run by people who did Yuck Yucks, which is a comedy chain in Canada. And they basically went to Humber College, and they basically, for a year, I went to comedy school, and I got a post-grad certificate in comedy. So I have a piece of paper that says I'm a funny person. So anytime someone was like, I don't know about that Anthony guy, I just like, well, can you read this? Laugh, mother. So
So you got a degree in
so I have a degree in funny. I'm a theater person. That's how I started. And when I moved out to LA, the first thing I did was I found a theater company that I could join, and I started acting in their shows. And they were nice enough to let me direct something that I had written. So then that's when I really got into the business, into the writing aspect of it, because a friend of mine saw it and they're like, you should write for TV. And I was like, I would love to. How do I do that? And then he introduced me to his manager, who is now my manager. She did my manager for, oh my God, for 8 years now, since late 2005. So that's how I got it. And then she basically was like, what she does is she does this great thing where she has a workshop for writers. She used to be a writer herself, so she understands. She wrote on Roseanne. Her name is Cherie Guitar. She wrote on Roseanne. She wrote on like the Harry and the Hendersons TV show, and like a bunch of shows in the 80s and 90s. So what she does, which is really cool, is every Saturday for comedy writers, we get together, we read our scripts, we have our scripts read by actors, it's a cold read, and then the writers stick around and we just beat each other's scripts up. We either punch them up when we need punching, or work on story, or whatever it is. And through that process, you learn what it is to be a TV writer. And I keep on telling people, like whenever, like I was there like almost every Saturday for like 2 years. And like after a while, after doing it for so often, it's like the Matrix. You just start seeing the numbers, and you're like, oh, 3-act structure, oh, 2-act structure. Character has to be active, not reactive. All of a sudden, you start seeing it. So now when I read scripts or when I'm writing my own scripts, all of that is ingrained, and because of that, I'm just much better writer. So that's how I got into it. Through the theater, I met my manager, who then basically molded me into the writer I am today and pushed me out into the world, and I started getting meetings, and it's been great.
What was your first? The first time you actually got paid as a writer?
First time I actually got paid as a writer was probably my job on The Office. Yeah, it was a big first job. So I ended up doing these showcases. My manager got me a showcase at Fox and a showcase at NBC, and that got my scripts to Greg Daniels, and then Greg Daniels called me for an interview, and he hired me to be a writer on The Office, and it was a good month. That month, I turned 30. My baby daughter was born. I got a job in The Office, and I bought a Kia Sorento. So it was not a bad month. April 21st till about May 21st, 2007. That was a good month. So that gig through the NBC showcase, they sent me to Greg Daniels, and then I met with him, and it was one of those amazing things where it was like my first gig was a writing job on a show that I already loved and wanted to be a part of. So it was just amazing. The cool thing about that is I told you how I went to comedy school. Working on the show is like a real comedy school, because you're working with one of the best showrunners that there ever was, and then on top of that, he's hired. It's hard to get on that show, so the writers who are on that show are incredible, and they have so much experience, and they have so much knowledge. So it was just like I was just picking brains like every day. It was just kind of like, hey, can I ask you a question about this? Hey, what do I do? But at the same time, you feel like, when you see your stuff, when you see something you've written on TV, it's like the craziest feeling in the world. You're like, oh my God, like I said that out loud in a room, and somebody wrote it down, and then somebody gave it to Steve Carell, and then he said it and then they recorded it and put it on TV for everyone to watch. It just kind of blows your mind. You're like, this is happening. I remember my first day on set. I'd already been writing for a couple months with the writing staff, and Greg Daniels was directing the first episode. It the Fun Run episode where they did the run for rabies, and Greg had me sort of shadow him on set a couple of those days just so I can see how it all worked. And I had written it down, a joke, a funny joke for Steve to do, and Greg was like, yeah, that's good, give it to Steve. And I was like, what? You want me to do what? You want me to walk? No. Isn't that what you're supposed to give it to Steve? He was like, go give it to Steve. I'm like, okay. Mr. Farrell, just instead of saying this, you can say this. He's like, oh, okay, good, great, thanks. And just like you walk away slowly and hope the earth doesn't open up and swallow you whole. But it was I don't know, it was just one of those like amazing feelings. I was there for 2 years and I loved every minute. It was amazing.
What is a story editor for the people who don't know?
Okay, so think of writing staffs like the Army. There are different levels. You come in as a private or like a whatever it is. I'll do a Star Trek. Star Trek I know, it's easier for me. So you come in as an ensign. So you come in as wesley crusher. And then you move on up to lieutenant, and then lieutenant commander, and then commander, and then captain. So it's the same thing with writers. You come in as a staff writer, and then after you put in your time as a staff writer, you become a story editor, executive story editor, co-producer, producer, supervising producer, co-executive producer, and then executive producer. So it's kind of like, that's like your rank, your writing rank. So after like 2 years, after the first year I was staff writer, and the second year I was story editor, then executive story. So the next show I work on, I'll probably be co-producer or executive. It just kind of like depends. And sometimes you can jump, sometimes you can go back, depending on the times and whatever it is. But that's all it is. All is just basically your rank in the room, and it doesn't mean that you say more or you say less. You should still feel responsible for the show, which is one of the things that Greg Daniels was always making sure. He's like, this is your show too. You have to make sure you speak up and you're not afraid to punch, be there with jokes, and it's your job. Your job is to be a writer in the room.
Make it better.
Yeah. Now, don't get me wrong. If the story editor said something and the co-executive producer said something, you're gonna listen to the co-EP. But as a story editor, you shouldn't feel like, well, I gotta stay quiet all the time. No, you should. At least in my mind, you should be able to speak your mind. Show how funny you are. You're there for a reason.
Well, it's a collaborative, what we do.
Exactly.
It's not one person. Yeah, well, so what's a writer's room like? What's it like to be in the middle of a room and sharing your ideas? Is it a lot of competition, or does it kind of fall into a certain order after a while? Does it feel good? Does it hurt at first?
Writers' rooms, everyone is different, and it always depends on who's in charge of the writers' room, the showrunner. If you have a showrunner who loves competition and loves to have people be afraid and be negative, and he thrives off of that, or she thrives off of that, you're not gonna like that writing room, because there are a lot of rooms like that where they're just kind of like, it's the best joke gets in, and you have to have the best joke, and if you're not doing it right, then you could be fired the next day. So there are those rooms. The rooms that I've been in have all been very happy, good rooms, thankfully, because we've had good showrunners who take pride in the fact that more voices means a better show. And I feel the same way. Like when I'm doing Dwelling, I feel like the more voices we have, don't be afraid to share. The more voices we have, the better show we'll get, because like you were saying earlier, it's a collaborative process. We have to be able to share our ideas and figure out which ones are the best ones as a group.
All right, so you dived headfirst into the online content creation pool. What made you decide to go on the web and start pursuing that?
That actually happened as an offshoot of my friend Lester Lewis, who I worked with on The Office. He was one of the people that started Strike TV after the writer's strike, and he said, "Hey, we're looking for content. Do you have anything?" And I had done a ton of sketch comedy with friends of mine. We had a sketch group called The Audacity, and I thought, you know what? I've wanted for a while now to do something bigger than a sketch with my sketch group friends. So I had this idea for a pilot, and I wrote it knowing the cast and knowing who everyone was going to be, and then we shot it over one weekend. We shot it with back in 2009 with 2 Panasonic H264s or some. I forget what they were called, but they're like old Panasonic, you know, camcorders and just like some studio some of those like picture lights, basically like the ones with the umbrellas and stuff. The people at the office let me borrow a bunch of C-stands from work. I was like, yeah, you know, this it's almost like a real set. We shot it at Paris's house, one of the lead actress. We just kind of like spent the weekend making this ridiculous TV show, making the pilot, which turned out to be the pilot.
Where did the idea for it come from? And obviously you already talked about the cast, but where did the idea come from?
You know what? I don't remember the actual where it came out. I do remember that I wanted to do something that had a sort of a Seinfeldian sort of structure, meaning that there were friends, people either lived together or didn't live together, but they were friends, and they each had their own stories, and they collided together in some sort of fun and interesting climax by the end. So I knew that I wanted something like that, and I think that was the beginning of it. Then started figuring out stories and characters and that sort of stuff based on some of our real lives, and just, you know, going from there.
You entered into a competition back then that then kind of propelled you a little bit further. Maybe talk about that experience and how you recovered from that experience. And it's a pretty good. I think it's a pretty good lesson for people to hear.
So we did the pilot, and then we actually people were interested in finding out more about our characters. So I got some writers together. We made another episode, and we actually put that second episode into a Meta Cafe competition. And what they were doing was, it was kind of like American Idol with 7 different web series, and people could watch them, and then they vote for their favorite one, and after a month, whichever web series won would get a second season or get more episodes on Meta Cafe. So we won the competition. We got 34% of the vote. Second place web series got 14%. So we smashed the competition. Everyone overwhelmingly were chosen as the winners. And this is after the 7 web series in total. We got like 6 million views, and Dwelling by itself got like over 1 million views on Meta Cafe. This is just in a month. So we're all excited. Meta Cafe is going to be on board. They're going to give us money. We're going to do some more stuff. And then Meta Cafe was like, yeah, all we're going to do now is find a sponsor to give us the money. It's like, I thought you were going to be the sponsor that gave us money. No, we're going to find a sponsor to give you money and then give us money. So hold on. So then what happened then was, we just months and months and months of, we're close. We're talking to this person. We're talking to that person. It's gonna happen. And then those people that were in charge of that, they basically like left Meta Cafe. And then when they left, nobody else cared. And so there went all of our money. So we basically spent an extra 8 months of not doing anything, waiting for this money to come forth. So then after that dispersed, we just kind of like, you know what, let's just we all loved working with each other. We'd already written a bunch more episodes because writers had gotten together and we'd done some more. Let's just Indiegogo it, crowdsource it, you know, crowdfund it, and get people, you know, excited about it again. And we raised just enough money to cover our costs and just kind of get together and do some more fun stuff. So we're currently using that money now to make more Dwelling episodes.
Well, thank you very much for taking your time to chat with us.
No problem. It was I was happy to do this for you. Go Blue Jays.
You're listening to KXSR, Excite Radio Los Angeles. Listen to the future.
Previously on Dwelling.
Yeah. This is the one night of the year no one besides these 2 ladies are welcome.
Bill, what are you doing in my backyard?
Jackie kicked me out. That's my big brother, Bill. He came in for a visit. Now neither of us have a place to stay.
Oh, nice talking to you. Hey, cutie, phone call.
Who was that?
Mira's sisters are in town.
I'm coming over. There are way too many people in my house!
Want me to get rid of some of them? Shrimp? No, I refuse to crawl back to that woman. She bolted down the toilet seat, so I had to sit to tinkle.
Not my problem.
She sounds horrible.
You don't even know her. She's worse.
Mira's pissed. She's gonna kill me in my sleep.
Well, she wouldn't be able to if we were at my place.
Hey, I thought you looked thirsty, so I made you a drink. I hope you don't mind.
Oh, this is Zoe, my girlfriend. Zoe? Maria.
Yeah, we met on the phone.
Neat.
Roommate takes a shower and doesn't expect me to sex up his girl by the time he gets out. I was set up. That was a trap. See, my boy was tricked.
That's not my problem either. My problem is that I have a bunch of drunk D-bags ruining one of my favorite nights of the year.
Okay, Mira, just look at it this way, okay? Now,
Well?
give me a second.
Oh, God.
Do you remember 2 years ago when Mira brought you for our cousin's wedding?
I didn't realize I was allergic to clams. Then by the reception, my eyes had swollen shut. You had to lead me around like a seeing eye dog.
Sis, bathrooms, family emergency.
Oh, I'll be right back. It's too bad the ugly one didn't answer your phone. You okay, monkey?
No. Rich and T have once again crapped in my cereal. I hate living with boys.
Well, tonight's not ruined. It's just modified.
Yeah, we can share each other for one night. Let's just have some fun.
All right. But don't touch any of the boys out there. They're disgusting. Rodney had STDs named after him.
I don't want the Rodneys.
What about Bill?
Did you take your bra off?
Mira's making this shit awkward, T. Let's go find a furniture store to sleep in.
Who you know to work at a furniture store?
Nobody?
Zoe and I are gonna take a walk, get some fresh air.
Yeah, just the two of us.
Me and the bro are gonna go bar hop. I'm gonna enjoy my freedom a little bit. Living it up! Yeah!
I just want you all to know I had an awful time.
Hey guys, since we're all stuck here together, the girls and I have come up with a solution. Okay, get in a circle.
But
Circle!
All right.
So what the hell is this?
It's Mafia. We play it all the time at family reunions.
It's like Werewolf. Oh, that clears it up.
I will stab all of you. Pay attention. Everyone gets a card but the moderator. Aces are Mafia, kings are detectives, queens are doctors.
No one knows each other's cards, and at nightfall, the Mafia gets to choose who they're gonna kill. Then the detective can ask the moderator who's the Mafia, and a doctor can choose someone to protect from death.
And during the day, we theorize over who the Mafia is, and we can kill one person per round. And then whoever's left standing, the townspeople or the Mafia, wins the game.
Okay, so everybody, heads down.
Wait, I got like 6 questions.
Down. Okay? Mafia, raise your heads. Detective up. Doctor, show yourself and save a life. Okay, everybody heads up.
Detective, doctor, mafia. Oh, damn, I know this game. T and I played this all the time when we were kids. Remember, boy?
No.
Man, this is Holocaust.
Oh!
It's what?
Damn it.
why am I not surprised?
Rodney, were you looking the whole time?
I was mixed up.
All right, everybody give me your cards back. We're starting over.
Bathroom.
Yeah, everybody just take 5 while I explain this again to the Fuhrer over here.
Okay, I want you to know I was always a German villager.
Wait. Were the Jews Mafia?
Holocaust. If I wasn't there, they'd be playing slavery.
Take over the team. You're a champion, man.
On the next dwelling.
You were killed during nightfall.
No, I I wasn't. You were. You're the dead one.
Oh, the town is safe thanks to you.
Hey, 4 inches.
More like 6 after that hug.
She's not even into me.
Are you into her?
Snap! Twist!
You're listening to KXSR, Excite Radio Los Angeles. Listen to the future.
Just wanna be famous. I just wanna be famous. I really want to be, just wanna be famous. I just wanna be famous. I really want to be, just wanna be famous. Listen to the beat, listen to the hunger deep inside of me. Now I'm picturing my dreams, pretty girls everywhere, admiring the scene there. And now I'm driving fancy cars, Lamborghinis, Porsches, or Ferraris on Mars. And now I'm sport for just and that's the reason why I just wanna be famous. I just wanna be famous. I really want to be, just wanna be famous. I just wanna be famous. I really want to be, just wanna be famous. You glisten down the street, and the people so today and dying to meet it. I got a house with a pool, party every day with all the cats in the pool. And now I get into my suit, Versace on money, it's whatever I choose. And because I'm sport for just and that's the reason why I just wanna be famous. I just wanna be famous. I really want to be, just wanna be famous. I just wanna be famous. I really want to be, just wanna be famous. And it's just because I want a much better life. Be a star to all the world. 'Cause I've really tried. Don't you know about what I'm worth to get me this right? And that's just the reason why. Oh, why? Say why? I really want to be. I just wanna be famous. Yes, I just want to be. Yeah. I just wanna be famous, so you remember me. I just wanna be famous. Yes, I just want to be. Yeah. Just wanna be famous. Yes, I really want to be. I just wanna be famous. Yes, I just want to be. Yeah. I just wanna be famous for everyone to see. I just wanna be famous so the girls remember me. Oh yeah, yeah.
Once in a while, more often than not, I forget that I forgot that I got all I got for a good reason. Though it may not be much, it's more than enough. Once in a while, I relax in my seat. I forget what is missing. I kiss fear on the cheek. I feel the light on my back, and though it burns with regret, it's more than enough. 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 Once in a while, though it's never the plan, I go blue and ungrateful, take to hiding again, till a friend at my window, disguised as an angel, says enough is enough. And when I'm sleepwalking, about to walk off a cliff, something inside me reminds me of this. Says don't take darkness for granted. Without it, light can't exist. And knowing's more than enough. It's more than enough. It's more than enough. It's more than enough. It's more. It's more than enough.
Taking the bleeding. American demon, I call you out. American demon, I call you out. I said, hey now, pay attention when they say, I want your freedom, then not for long. Keep a piece in your pocket just in case they're wrong. said to fix the world to his vision. American demon, call it right, grab around, sit your time. American demon, unsolved our sins tonight beneath the orange blossom of the city light. American demon, hey now, try to keep yourself afloat. At least until you bring the war home.
This is the KXSR Digital Broadcast Network.